Back with you here in the final round of the 101st PGA Championship. Featured group coverage right here this morning on PGA.com. We've already made it to the afternoon, and then later this afternoon, we'll watch the final group. Brooks Koepka and Harold Varner III. Lots of questions there. Can Brooks put the finishing touches on this 7-shot lead? No one's ever lost a 7-shot lead in the final round. There have been plenty of guys that have come from farther than 7 back, but they didn't catch a guy that had a 7-shot lead. You get the difference. And what is Harold Varner III going to have for us? Thrust into the biggest spotlight he's ever been in. Golf Track showing us Francesco's positioning as he's gone through the week here. Well, it started way left, he got in the middle, and now he's gone over to the right.
He's pretty much covered everything. And what you don't see in there is his provisional ball that he hit, which was well right. Yep. And shy of that bunker.
Zach with 191 left and Francesco with 189 left. Francesco Molinari's career path last year won Tiger's event in Washington, D.C. by 7 or 8 shots. Then held off Tiger himself, took the lead from Tiger Woods on Sunday in the final round in his group at that British Open. But prior to that, he wasn't even the best player in his own family. We already referenced his older brother Eduardo Molinari, former U.S. amateur champion.
Percentage it flew 90.
Percentage is actual flew 206.
Is it? I mean, I gotta hit this, don't I? 12 behind it. That's 211. It's nothing but a 7.
Correct.
Just normal?
15 to help. I mean, should just be a smooth 7.
170 to 175?
Yeah.
Okay, Michael, I think they're going to go with a smooth 7-iron.
It sounds like it. Well, it looked smooth.
Like he hit it a little hard.
Careful.
Good.
Yeah. And I think this is the predominant wind. I think when the golf course was designed by Tillinghast, I think this was the wind that he designed it for, the south wind. Take this hole, run it downwind, and then turn around, come up with a hole that's not quite as long, but plays almost the same. Careful again. Oh, it's good now.
Good contact. He's got to hurry up there because he's got to get up there and get the flagstick. He knew it. I am Francesco Molinari.
It says, this is what it feels like to be Brooks Koepka.
I am the greatest player in this bunker right now. Our colleague here, Luke Elvey, is not going to be able to make it in today. Case of vertigo, he says. So a late withdrawal. He wishes all of his colleagues here at Turner Sports, and he's been doing the CBS Interactive coverage as well this week, doing double duty and under the weather. Luke, we wish you the best. Feel better. It was great to see him earlier this week. And he went #GoBrooks. I like that. Well, let me just take a moment as well. Michael, you and I have been doing this for a lot of years, and this is the last year for Turner Sports' coverage with the PGA of America. It's been a wonderful relationship, and you and Bill Kratzert talk about that later this afternoon, and Steve Scott as well. But this project brought the two of us together.
Yes, it did.
And my goodness, am I a better man for that?
You know, I think we both are, quite frankly. It's a wonderful friendship that you and I enjoy. In our various responsibilities, our paths cross not quite as frequently as they used to, but we have had some wonderful times, both in PGA championships as well as in Ryder Cups.
International, some of the best stories I have from my time in this game have come from hanging out with you and traveling the world with you. And the same goes for this Turner Sports crew. They started just merely as neighbors of mine. I live in Atlanta. Most of them are Atlanta based, but these are some of the most talented people in all of sports. There's a truck full of them. You don't ever hear their names or their voices or see their faces. But for me to get to work with this crew, it's just been an absolute honor and a pleasure, and I thank you all. And I'm not leaving just yet, but in about 30 minutes, Steve Scott's going to come in, and he usually ruins everything.
Obviously, BK does not mean that.
No, Steve is awesome. He's a great member of the team.
And we all are good friends, as I'm sure you all can well imagine. Steve is a guy who has had some wonderful success with the golf clubs this year. He's going to play in 2 PGA Tour events this year. And a guy that I've assisted with his golf swing a number of years ago when he came into the Met section. He had been struggling a bit with his game and asked me for my thoughts. And I was fortunate enough to be able to be a part of it, and very proud of the resurgence in his career that he has had, as well as the success that he's had as a head golf professional. And now what he's doing, it's great. And a good family man. He, like you and I, both the father of 2. Christy, his bride.
And she was that young co-ed that was on the bag for him. The 96 U.S. Amateur. People always ask him. It's his favorite question to get as we watch Zach Johnson. Hey, whatever happened to that young lady you had caddying for you? And he smiles and he says, I married her. It's a happy ending to that story for sure.
They are, honestly, I mean, every time I see them, they are so happily married. It is truly a great gift.
Johnson for his par, and he will par the hole for the 4th consecutive time this week. Your feisty wife gave me one of our best stories, the Ryder Cup in Wales.
Celtic Manor.
Celtic Manor. She made her first trip, and the 3 of us flew into London, and we were going to drive over, about a 2-hour drive. She went and picked the rental car, and she picked a car that could move.
Yes, she did.
She also picked a car that was a manual shift.
Yes, she did.
I got the call as the driver. My parents drove race cars. She got the call as the co-pilot. She did some of the shifting.
And I got the call as the scared guy in the back.
We scared the daylights out of you for 2 hours, and I'm sorry about that. But she and
I would love to believe that you actually are.
You're right, I'm not, because Carrie wasn't scared.
Not at all.
We had a blast.
In fact, she loved it.
Yes. Fantastic. As poor Michael couldn't bear to watch the things.
I am a 10-2.
Yeah.
Although I will tell you today, I got it 10 miles an hour over the speed limit.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah. It's a record.
Well, we made it in record time from Heathrow Airport to Celtic Manor. Stayed on the correct side of the road most of the way also. Pretty good par for Molinari out of the fairway bunker. There is trouble everywhere here at Bethpage Black. Everyone knows that. Brooks Koepka has avoided the most of it so far this week. Harold Varner III is 7 back. He's in that final group. Here's what he had to say about being paired with Brooks.
Oh, it's awesome. It's a great opportunity. It's a great day. It's going to be a big day, no matter what happens. This is what you practice for, and obviously I'm super excited. I just need to go home. I'm going to game a little bit, eat some McDonald's, and do it again. I'm super excited for the opportunity. I think you just have to do a really good job of competing out here. You know, just when you mess up, just hang in there. You know, because if you miss a beat somewhere, you're gonna make double real quick. My goal is to hit the fairway on number 1 and start from there. Pretty simple. You know, life's hard. This is easy.
Just a great attitude. I love Harold. I've gotten a chance to know him over the years. He meant he's going to go play some video games and eat some McDonald's. And here comes the man they're looking to beat. Brooks Koepka, his longtime girlfriend Jenna Sims, who is also just as nice as you ever want to meet. She's a sweetheart, down to earth, just like Brooks. Francesco just hit that ball backwards.
An interesting way to change golf balls.
That's his worst drive of the year.
You know, there's going to be a ton of people that are going to call in and wonder whether or not that ball is in play because he hit it with the club.
And
you and I both know that there's a big word called intention.
Ball on a tee is not in play until you intend to put it in play. Just because you miss it doesn't mean it doesn't count. If you meant to hit it, it's a swing. If you didn't, it doesn't.
This fairway just 22 yards wide, and that is nowhere near the fairway. This wind is this tee shot back into the wind, and the wind should be from right to left. And once again, Zach Johnson bringing out the chains to check and see if he made another first down. He's done that on a handful of occasions.
Well, so you remember they used to have the tee markers
the other way.
Yes, but they've aimed them this way so that we get them on this camera shot a little
branding.
Better. It's branding, but it's not helping the players, and Zach is going for every inch.
But he has 2 full club lengths.
He does. You don't have to be there. Left. But there's room for it. So they will take a walk up the 11th. We'll take a look at the making of a major presented by Callaway, and a lot goes in to weeks like this.
The tour truck that we have is a unique beast in itself.
We're kind of like a pit crew for the guys here.
Without that truck, this job is incredibly difficult.
Every day is something different. What's unique is it's basically a mobile workshop. We're here as problem solvers, so anything the player needs to play at the best level possible, we're here to do.
We can start from scratch, or we can make minor adjustments, and it's just whatever the players need to dial in that Callaway equipment and make sure that it's performing to its best.
We take that truck to just about every PGA Tour event in the continental U.S.
When the truck's here and they have the opportunity to check loft and lie and make sure every piece of their equipment is ready to go, I think it gives them confidence and it allows us to do our job to the best of our abilities.
Player relationships on the PGA Tour for us are of the utmost importance.
Right away, you got to start getting to know the players, getting to know your staffers, and make sure they're comfortable with you because they need to trust you to work on their equipment.
We kind of wear a lot of different hats in this role. We're kind of a part of their team, and we're in that trust circle, so anything that comes up has to do with their golf games, we're kind of there to help.
Have you seen some of the new stuff recently? Stroke Lab shaft or anything like that? There would be a couple models, I think, matching up with that. Yeah, there's not a ton on there. Yeah. And I'll have a bag of the newest putters every week out in the green, so if somebody's looking for a change, I make sure I'm there to talk them through it. And week to week, it sometimes won't change that much, and then guys will start putting poorly, and it'll change a lot. The loft would be the one thing that, going from the greens you're playing to these ones, I'd say if anything, you probably would want to mess with that a little bit. That face feels like it can stay square.
My focus is mainly flash drivers, flash fairway woods, apex irons. How good is that thing? But with it being soft and a little bit wet, some of these longer holes are uphill too. There's not a lot of run out. So it's kind of a true carry yardage course.
Clearly, Bethpage Black is a beast.
You cannot fake it around this golf course. If you do not hit it well here, you will not play well.
The one thing you have to look out for is the grass type. So when you get onto like Poana greens, some guys will want to add a little bit of loft to their putter to make up for that inconsistent surface, especially in the afternoons.
If you have a 3-iron that just doesn't elevate as much as you need it to stop on the greens, then that's where like a 3 hybrid or a 7 would come into play, and in certain cases will be used this week to help guys stop them on the greens.
When you have sort of that connection to the equipment they're using, it's just a lot of pride when you see them competing and winning on the biggest stage.
We end up living and dying on every shot with these guys. You try not to take it home with you because it can drive you crazy, but when guys have a chance to win, we get pretty pumped up.
We have a great field this week at Bethpage. We're hoping on Sunday when it comes down, Callaway Golf will be holding the trophy.
I think it's going to be a good showing here for Team Callaway.
Good folks doing good work. Francesco Molinari recently signing with those guys. So many of these players now not signing equipment contracts anymore. Francesco couldn't get there from where he was with anything that he had in the bag.
That's what I mean about having high clubhead speeds.
Don't like this. No, it's like a 200 shot.
He's settled on it. He's really never settled on it until he steps in that last time.
Oh, stay in the air. Thank you.
It listened.
And he thanked it.
A little SOB was going to fall out of the air there for a second.
Look, it's coming back.
That's Brett.
This is how you treat a golf ball nicely. This may go in.
Well, how about
this
that?
may go in.
We saw Rory be nice to a bug here on this green yesterday and got the karma, made the putt. Brett Waldman was speaking nicely to that golf ball, and look at what happened.
It just goes to show you. Got to be nice. And it doesn't take a lot. All we got to do is say thank you. See what thank you does? That hole, 428. 10th hole, 500. The 500 he played driver 7-iron. This one, I don't know what he hit from 200, but it was 200 yards.
Well, it was probably that 4-iron that he was at 4. He was in between that and the 4 hybrid.
Give you an idea, 428 minus 200. That's not a long drive.
No. No. Coming up here in just a few minutes, former Mets section member Steve Scott's going to be sitting in. He and Michael will be taking you through the finish of this group or the start of our final group, whichever comes first. Koepka and Varner at 2:35. Bill Kratzer, who has been walking the fairways this morning, will take that gear off and come sit in here also. He's going to join us at 3 o'clock.
Looked like he kind of stuffed that wedge into the ground. That was a lot bigger divot than I had thought that he would take. Almost stopped his follow through, and he'll have a putt for par, but it'll be outside of Zach Johnson, whose politeness, BK, I think is one of the reasons why he's got a kick in birdie on this 11th hole.
Fun to watch these guys make their way up, and that's why we talked about it earlier. We're going to see the power game on display later this afternoon. We've seen it, and just think that there needs to be a place in the game for guys with swing speed like these two. What a birdie this is going to be for Zach Johnson. You never want to punish guys for doing things well, but you don't want to take these guys out of the game because they're being out hit. You stay.
I have an idea.
Doing a little traffic directing here as we watch Francesco line up this birdie putt. John Lindert, the secretary of the PGA of America, is going to be joining us here shortly as well.
I look forward to that.
Corinne Hanna from the PGA of America has brought us another esteemed guest. She is busy.
What a week she's had as we watch Molinari try to roll one in from downtown.
That would have been for par.
And that appeared to run a fair ways by. Yeah, almost 4 or so feet he'll have for his bogey.
Well, we talked about the avoiding of doubles. End of Brooks's round yesterday. He left a whole lot of putts short. Here's Francesco running one by, and this is how you turn a 4 into a 6 right here. And he saves his 5. Not as big a deal for Francesco. It will be a bigger deal for this entire field later today.